Hi everyone! Sorry if it's really loud. My window is open and my neighbor's air conditioner faces into my window, so if you hear that vroom, 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 that's the air conditioner that just turned off. Woo! Okay, so today's video is the events that led me up to deciding to finally get my crap checked out and being diagnosed with POTS, which is Postural Orthostatic Tachycardia Syndrome. And I'm making this video because a lot of people were like, hey, didn't you ever realize that there's something wrong if you've had these symptoms all your life? And the answer is no. Because, it's like no one wants to be sick, so everyone's always in denial of being sick. It's kind of like when, say, you wake up with a sore throat or something and you're just like, my throat's just sore, it'll go away. Or you wake up with a headache and you're just like, I'll just take ibuprofen, it'll be fine. And then it's not the sore throat, actually you have strep throat, and the headache you actually have a brain tumor or something, things like that. You just don't think it's serious until it's serious and you're like, oh, whoops. So yes, so basically I at this point feel like I have had POTS, Postural Orthostatic Tachycardia Syndrome, since I was a little kid. Ever since I was young, I would get lightheaded when squatting and getting back up. People used to just tell me to get up slower, which is what I thought was the solution. I thought that everybody had this problem and, it was just a fact of life. Because you don't know what other people experience, so you just assume that people feel the same way you do, because you just don't know as a kid, I guess, and you don't know as an adult. And another thing that I mentioned in a previous video, is I slept on a lot of pillows, because it's the same thing, for getting up from laying down to the sitting up position to standing up was always really difficult for me. And so as soon as I was able to replace my pillow, because my mom only let me sleep on one pillow, so as I got old enough and she's like, oh, we need to get you a new pillow, I was like, okay. So we got a new pillow and I kept the old one, and I would stack one pillow on top of another. And then I asked for another pillow and she was like, you don't need another pillow. And I was like, okay. So I just slept on those two pillows, and then as soon as I was old enough, I bought another pillow. So I bought 3 pillows. So I was even more upright. And my mom's like, it's bad for your back, you shouldn't sleep on so many pillows. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna keep them on my bed so they can decorate my bed. And I slept on all of them. And I think now that I'm thinking about it, in my childhood bed I had 5 pillows total. Had a lot of pillows. And some of my other friends slept on multiple pillows, so I thought that was normal. And I would never sleep on less than one. I wouldn't lay down flat because it would bother me. And I thought that that was just a thing everybody else did. In terms of exercise, I was really, really active as a child. I did ballet and gymnastics and tap and jazz and traditional Chinese dance and color guard in high school and ballet still in college. So I always did stuff, but then I started noticing as you grow older and have more awareness of your body, that I was always winded, and I was always sweating so hard, and nobody else was sweating. It was just me. I was just a really sweaty person, and I still am a really sweaty person. I noticed that I would get red really fast no matter what I did. And I was just like, oh, that's just me. I guess I just take after my dad, who is also very sweaty. And then, whatever, so that was that. And then, as I got a little older and I stopped doing sports and such, I noticed that going up and down the stairs at work left me really winded, and this was after like 6 years sitting in an office, not exercising. So I figured that it was just because I am a big lazy sack of garbage and I'm out of shape, and that's why carrying just like a basket of like laundry up the stairs would leave me so winded, and I didn't think much of it because I just thought that I was lazy and out of shape. And I'm very glad to know that I'm not lazy or out of shape, that it's caused by P.O.T.S. So, yeah. So that was pretty much my entire life until the day that I decided to finally go to the doctor because I thought it was something like unrelated. I was standing around at work, you know, it wasn't busy. I'm not gonna like sit down because I work at a salon, and I mean, like, I'll sit sometimes, but I prefer to sit like in the break room rather than sitting like on the salon floor. And I remember I was just like staring off into space. I wasn't doing anything. I was just standing. And then all of a sudden I was just like looking around because I felt like I was like drunk and high at the same time, but I was not drunk or high, nor did I drink or do any illicit substances the night prior, or days prior for that matter, or weeks prior for that matter. So I was sure that I was not drunk or high, and I'm just like standing there, and I was just like, because it's just like my head just felt like it was like kind of like strange and like it wasn't like tingly, but it like just felt weird, and then like my vision was just like, and I was just like, okay, great. And the first time that happened was I think like January or February 2017. 2017, and at that point I really did not like the salon that I worked at, so I just figured that it was my body telling me it was time to go and that this was not the place for me. So I just chalked it up as that, and then I left the salon and was unemployed for like 2 or 3 months, 2 months, and then I found work at another salon. All was well until I would say, well, a couple of months ago. So I would say maybe like March, April-ish. It was the exact same thing. I pretty much was standing around and the same thing happened. And I was like, okay, it's time for me to go to another salon because I hate this job. Because that's what I really thought it was. I just thought it was my body going like, no, you cannot work here anymore. And I didn't. And it just got worse. Like, it got to the point where like, so at the new salon, it happened like sometimes, but very rarely. And then I had like numbness that might be unrelated, probably is unrelated, that was like half down my body, or like both sides of my face would get numb. And then in like March or April, it kind of got worse. Like I felt more like strangely swimmy, and my vision was more like bleh. And that was also when I was like standing around doing nothing. So it got to the point where I had like numbness a lot, and my vision was like this. And so I was like, okay, this is the problem. By the way, I have no answer for the numbness or the vision going like this. So that's something else entirely. However, I decided after the whole vision going like this, is that it might be a problem. So I went to go to the doctor, and my doctor was just like, you might have a mass in your brain, and I was just like, please don't tell me that. He ordered a CAT scan, but then like never did it, so I ended up going to another doctor, and they were the ones who did the EKG, PVR, pseudomotor test, the 2 ultrasounds, and then I got blood work done for a full panel from another doctor, because I thought at first it was my thyroid, because my thyroid was acting up at that point as well. And I got a thyroid ultrasound, and then I got an ultrasound on my legs and a CAT scan. Yeah. So basically after that, the doctor's like, you have what's called P.O.T.S. And I was like, great. Went home, and and by the way, she just told me to eat more potato chips and drink water. So I went home and I researched it, and I was just like, oh, and everything made sense. So that was a long story, but basically that was my life, and that was me finding out, or those are not really even the events. I have a scab in my ear. But those are the things that led me ultimately to this diagnosis and this present day in time, and that's how I got P.O.T.S. This video probably wasn't helpful at all, but for those of you guys who are asking, yeah, so no, I did not know that there was something wrong with me when I was a child, because I figured that everybody else had this exact same problem and I was not alone. Oh, and then a second thing, when I was like, I definitely need to get this checked out, was when I was weeding my garden and I got up and I almost passed out, but instead there was a garbage can in the way and I fell into the garbage can instead. And I was like, that's not good. So I should probably get this checked out. But yeah, so this is pretty much the events of my lifetime, of anything P.O.T.S related, and why I did not think that it was a problem, and why nobody else thought it was a problem, because I guess they didn't give a shit. And also, P.O.T.S is relatively new. I think it was only discovered in 1993, and I was alive way before then. And so back then it was more of like a survival of the fittest. Like if your kid sucked, your kid just wouldn't make it, and that was okay because those were the times. But it's like the new millennium, it's 2018, every person deserves a chance at life, and there's no like survival of the fittest, and we're all pampered, and yeah. So that's the world that we live in now, not the same as the world that I grew up in. And that's probably why I now have a diagnosis for P.O.T.S, because if I brought this up to anybody like years beforehand, they would probably be like, you should just get up slower. I will say though that my P.O.T.S isn't as bad as some people's that I found. Like I joined like a P.O.T.S forum or group thingy, and there are people who are like wheelchair bound. I am not at that point yet. I am at the point where if I stand for too long, like right now, like I just feel like, I just feel it. And I really hope that it does not get worse. I am taking the measurements of self-care, but it's not really working. Like even right now, I am holding on to my dresser because I don't feel balanced at this moment. But yes, so this is what it is. So I'm going to end my video now before it gets too rambly. But thank you guys so much for watching my videos, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!